The galaxy was quiet from the bridge of the research vessel Odyssey. Captain Mara Torres gazed at the sweeping vista of stars, contemplating the strange path that had brought humanity to this moment. 5 years since Earth had joined the Galactic Council. 5 years of playing the role of grateful newcomer, the junior species feeling its way through interstellar politics. "Captain, approaching checkpoint Sigma 9, announced Lieutenant Aisha Patel from the tactical station. Her dark eyes remained fixed on the navigational display, fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Council beacon is requesting identification and flight plan." Mara nodded, brushing a strand of silver-streaked black hair from her face. 20 years of deep space exploration had earned her the command of Earth's most advanced research vessel. But these days, even veteran captains had to bow to Council protocols. Standard response: Lieutenant, research mission to the Cygnus sector, approved by Earth Command and registered with Council Transit Authority. The lie came easily. Their true destination lay beyond the beacon network, in a sector mysteriously absent from Council star charts, despite being well within range of Earth's pre-Council astronomical surveys. Mara turned to her communications officer. "Commander Davis, status on the encrypted transmissions." Theo Davis, a lanky man with prematurely gray hair, looked up from his console. "Still working on it, Captain. Whatever the Council is hiding in their nav beacon signals, they've buried it under multiple encryption layers. Keep at it. I want to know what they're saying when they think we can't hear." Mara's instincts, honed through decades in the void, told her something wasn't right about Earth's hasty induction into the Council. The missing star systems, the restricted archives, the subtle condescension from older Council members, all of it nagged at her sense of order. Dr. Elias Ford approached her chair, tablet in hand. The ship's chief linguist was the oldest member of her crew, his weathered face a map of a lifetime spent deciphering alien languages. "Captain, I've completed my analysis of the Council's official language protocols," he said quietly. "There's an interesting pattern in their historical references. Whenever humanity's pre-Council history is mentioned, the translation matrices show a 7% deviation from standard parameters. Meaning they're systematically altering certain concepts when communicating with us. It's subtle, but consistent." Mara frowned. "Deliberate mistranslation?" "I believe so. The question is why." The ship's proximity alert chimed, drawing their attention to the main view screen. A gravitational anomaly had appeared at the edge of their sensor range, near the boundary of what the Council designated as Prohibited Sector XT-17. "Full sensor sweep," Mara ordered, "and keep us at a reasonable distance." Chief Science Officer Maya Wong's fingers flew across her console. "Reading intense gravitational distortion consistent with a dense stellar cluster. But that's odd. What is it?" "According to Council charts, there's nothing there but empty space. But our sensors are picking up what appears to be artificial signals, nav beacons, but on an encrypted frequency, not listed in our Council protocols." Mara exchanged glances with Dr. Ford. This was exactly the kind of discrepancy they had been looking for. "Commander Davis, can you intercept and decode those signals?" Davis adjusted his communications array. "Working on it. Yes. I'm getting something. It's definitely Council encryption, but an older variant than what they provided to Earth." "Put it through the analyzer." The bridge crew waited in tense silence as the ship's AI processed the intercepted signals. Finally, a series of coordinates appeared on the main screen. "It's a navigational pathway," Lieutenant Patel said, studying the data. "Through the gravitational distortion and into whatever lies beyond." Mara stood, decision made. "Plot a course along those coordinates. Minimum emissions, passive sensors only." Patel looked up, alarm evident in her expression. "Captain, that would take us directly into a Council-restricted zone. Protocol requires—" "I'm well aware of protocol, Lieutenant," Mara interrupted firmly. "But something isn't right here, and I intend to find out what—" Earth Command authorized this mission specifically to investigate these anomalies. Not entirely true, but not entirely false either. Admiral Lucia Ruiz had given Mara considerable latitude to explore inconsistencies in Council-provided star charts. This certainly qualified. "Aye, Captain," Patel replied, her posture stiffening slightly. "Course plotted. Entering restricted zone in 17 minutes. Mara returned to her command chair, feeling the weight of her decision. 5 years of careful diplomacy with the Council could be jeopardized by what she was about to do. But something in her gut told her that the answers they sought were worth the risk. "All departments, prepare for covert operations protocol. Dr. Ford, I want you standing by to analyze anything we might find. Commander Davis, maintain communications blackout except for emergency channels to Earth Command. Lieutenant Patel, be ready to execute emergency exit vectors at my command." As the Odyssey slipped silently into the Forbidden Zone, Mara couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to uncover something that would change humanity's understanding of its place in the galaxy forever. The gravitational distortion proved to be an ingenious camouflage, a carefully modulated field that created the appearance of impassable space while concealing a stable, wormhole-like corridor. The Odyssey emerged into a star system that, according to Council records, didn't exist. "Full sensor sweep," Mara ordered, staring at the view screen in amazement. "What are we looking at?" Chief Wong shook her head in disbelief. "A G-type star with 7 planets. Third one from the star appears to be terrestrial, Earth-like. Atmosphere. Captain, it's breathable. Nitrogen-oxygen mix. Gravity 1.02 Earth standard. Life signs. Scattered settlements on the main continent. Technology readings consistent with early industrial development. And there's something else." Wong looked up, her expression troubled. "There's a structure in orbit. Advanced technology. Definitely not native to the planet. It appears to be some kind of monitoring station. Council? The design is similar to their outposts, yes." Mara considered this information carefully. "Any sign we've been detected?" Lieutenant Patel checked her tactical display. "Negative, Captain. The station appears to be automated. Minimal power signature. I don't think it's designed for defense. Just observation." "Good. Let's keep our distance and continue scanning. I want detailed readings of those settlements." For the next 6 hours, the Odyssey maintained a passive orbit behind the system's outermost moon, collecting data on the mysterious planet. The more they discovered, the more puzzling the situation became. "Captain," Dr. Ford called from his station, excitement evident in his voice. "I've been analyzing the visual data from the settlements, and you need to see this." Mara joined him at his console, where he had enhanced images of stone structures on the planet's surface. "These inscriptions," he said, pointing to markings carved into what appeared to be a temple or civic building. "They're not in any Council language database, but, Mara, they're in Proto-Earth script." "What?" Mara leaned closer, studying the angular symbols. "That's impossible." "It's a derivative of ancient Sumerian cuneiform, mixed with elements that resemble early Indus Valley script. Linguistic evolution suggests separation from Earth, approximately 7,000 to 10,000 years ago." Mara straightened, mind racing. "You're saying these are humans? A human colony? Thousands of years before we developed spaceflight?" "That's exactly what I'm saying." Ford's eyes gleamed with scholarly excitement. "I've begun translating some of the more recent inscriptions. They contain references to something called the Mother World and the Great Seeding." "The Council knows about this," Mara said slowly, the implications dawning on her. "They're deliberately hiding it from us. But why?" Before Ford could respond, Lieutenant Patel called out urgently from tactical. "Captain! Council vessel approaching at high warp. Destroyer class." Mara returned to her chair immediately. "How did they find us so quickly? Time to intercept." 12 minutes. They're on a direct course for our position. Battle stations. Prepare for emergency. Wait, interrupted Commander Davis. They're hailing us. Direct channel. Earth protocols. Mara hesitated, then nodded. On screen. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the stern visage of a council envoy. The Arcturian's blue-tinged features were set in an expression Mara had come to recognize as barely concealed contempt. Captain Torres of Earth Vessel Odyssey, the envoy stated flatly. You have entered a restricted zone in violation of Council Directive 317. Power down your systems and prepare to be escorted back to Earth space immediately. Mara stood, maintaining the calm demeanor expected of a starship captain. Envoy, we detected a gravitational anomaly and we're investigating a potential navigational hazard. Our charts show no restricted zone in this area. A transparent lie, but she needed time. The Arcturian's expression didn't change. Your explanation is noted and rejected. You will comply with escort procedures or face seizure of your vessel. The Council has been tolerant of Earth's curiosity, but there are limits to our patience. The transmission ended abruptly. Options? Mara asked, looking around at her senior staff. Lieutenant Patel spoke first. We can outrun them. Captain, the Odyssey was designed for speed, but they'll notify other Council vessels in the sector. And we still don't know what we've found here, added Dr. Ford. These people, this planet, it could be the key to understanding humanity's true history. Mara made her decision. Lieutenant Patel, set course for the third planet. Full impulse. Commander Davis, prepare a data package of everything we've discovered and encrypt it for transmission to Earth Command. Dr. Ford, I need translations of those inscriptions. Anything that explains what this place is and why the Council is hiding it. Captain, Patel said hesitantly, that's direct defiance of a Council order. I'm aware, Lieutenant, but we were sent to find answers, and I intend to complete that mission. Mara's voice softened slightly. Anyone who objects can state so for the record. I'll take full responsibility for what happens next. No one spoke. Despite their misgivings, the crew of the Odyssey trusted their captain. Very well, take us in. The Odyssey descended through the atmosphere of the Forbidden Planet, racing against time. The Council destroyer remained in high orbit, seemingly hesitant to follow them into the atmosphere. They're holding position, Lieutenant Patel reported. But they're transmitting on multiple frequencies, probably calling for reinforcements. How long until they arrive? Best estimate, 4 hours. Mara nodded grimly. Then we have 4 hours to find what we came for. Dr. Ford, where should we land? The linguist studied his translations. The central settlement has the most extensive inscriptions. There appears to be some kind of repository or library structure at its center. Taking us down, Patel confirmed, guiding the research vessel toward the coordinates. As they approached the settlement, they could see people gathering in the streets, pointing upward at the descending spacecraft. Their clothing was simple, woven fabrics in earth tones, but their builds and features were unmistakably human. No signs of panic, observed Commander Davis. They seem expectant. As if they've been waiting for contact, Mara murmured. The Odyssey landed in an open area near the central building Dr. Ford had identified. Mara selected a small away team. Herself, Ford, Lieutenant Patel for security, and Chief Wong for scientific analysis. Commander Davis, you have the con, she instructed. Maintain communications and be prepared for immediate extraction. If the Council forces arrive before we return, don't wait. Take the ship out and get our findings back to Earth. The air of the planet felt strangely familiar as they stepped out of the Odyssey. A crowd had gathered at a respectful distance, watching silently. An older man stepped forward from the group, his white robes marking him as a person of significance. Dr. Ford activated his universal translator as the man began to speak. The words that emerged were shocking in their clarity. The children of the mother world have returned, as was foretold. The translator rendered in English. I am Keeper Talon, guardian of the ancient knowledge. We have preserved our history for this day. Mara stepped forward. I am Captain Mara Torres of the Earth vessel Odyssey. We come in peace and friendship. The old man's eyes widened. You speak the name of the mother world, Earth, the sacred origin. You know of Earth? Ford asked eagerly. It is written in our most ancient texts, the world from which the cedars brought our ancestors, before the great silence fell. Come, there is little time. The Watchers will have summoned their forces already. The Keeper led them through the settlement toward the central stone building. People lined the path, reaching out to touch the visitors reverently. They've been expecting us, Mara said quietly to Ford. Not us, specifically, he replied. But it seems they've maintained a tradition of expecting contact from Earth someday. Inside the repository, walls of inscribed stone tablets and preserved scrolls filled chamber after chamber. Keeper Talon led them to a central room where a large crystalline object sat upon a pedestal. The memory of origins, he explained, passed down through 300 generations of keepers. It contains the true history of humanity among the stars. Chief Wang scanned the object. It's a data storage device, Captain. Incredibly sophisticated. Definitely not made with this society's level of technology. Can we access it? I believe so. It seems designed to interface with multiple technological levels. Keeper Talon placed his hand on the crystal, which began to glow softly. I authorize access to the visitors from Earth. A holographic display appeared above the crystal, showing a three-dimensional star map of the galaxy. Specific points of light pulsed with greater intensity, dozens of them scattered throughout the spiral arms. The human worlds, Talon said simply. Seeded by the Ancient Ones, who took our ancestors from Earth when they were still primitive. Dr. Ford stared in astonishment. Are you saying an alien species transplanted humans from Earth to other planets thousands of years ago? Yes. The Ancient Ones found potential in our species and established experimental colonies across the galaxy to observe our development under different conditions. But they vanished long ago, leaving only their monitoring technology behind. And the Council? Mara asked. What is their role in this? Talon's expression darkened. The Council discovered the truth centuries ago when they began their expansion. They found human worlds at various stages of development. Some advanced enough to join galactic society. But rather than reveal the truth, they concealed it, isolating the human worlds from each other, feeding each a different history. But why? Lieutenant Patel asked. Control, Mara answered, the pieces falling into place. If each human world believes it's unique, they can be manipulated individually. But if they knew they were part of a larger human diaspora, they might form a unified bloc within the Council, Ford finished. Potentially the largest in the galaxy. The data, Chief Wang interrupted, pointing to the crystal. Captain, it contains genetic mapping of all human variants across these colonies. Astronomical data, historical records, everything we'd need to prove this connection. Can you download it? Already in progress. Keeper Talon looked at them gravely. The Watchers will come in force to prevent you from leaving with this knowledge. It has happened before. Others have discovered this place, Mara asked. 3 times in my lifetime. None escaped the Council's intervention. Their ships were destroyed, their crews disappeared. Mara's communicator chirped. Captain, came Commander Davis's urgent voice. Multiple Council vessels have entered the system. 6 destroyer-class ships and what appears to be a command cruiser. They're demanding our immediate surrender. Mara looked at her away team, then at the Ancient Keeper. How much of the data have we transferred? 63%, Wang reported. Another 7 minutes for complete download. We may not have 7 minutes. Download what you can. Then we move. Mara turned to Talon. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. If we succeed, Earth will know of your existence and your loyalty through the ages." The old man nodded solemnly. "It is why we have endured, Captain. Go now, and break the chains of ignorance that bind our scattered family." They raced back to the Odyssey as Commander Davis continued to report the approaching Council fleet. By the time they reached the ship, the first destroyer had entered the atmosphere. "Status?" Mara demanded as they reached the bridge. "Council Command Cruiser is hailing us," Davis reported. "It's Grand Administrator Selcorn himself." On screen, the view screen revealed a severe-looking Arcturian with elaborate facial markings, denoting his high rank in the Council hierarchy. "Captain Torres," he began without preamble. "You have violated multiple Council directives and accessed restricted information. Power down your vessel immediately and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning." Mara stood tall, facing the Administrator directly. "With respect, Administrator, we've discovered evidence that the Council has deliberately concealed humanity's true history. We intend to report our findings to Earth Command." Selcorn's expression hardened. "You have no idea what forces you're meddling with, Captain. The careful balance of the galaxy rests on certain historical accommodations. Your species is not ready for this knowledge." "That's not your decision to make," Mara replied. "We're leaving now. Any attempt to stop us will be considered an act of aggression against Earth." "You leave me no choice." Selcorn terminated the transmission. "They're powering weapons," Lieutenant Patel reported. "All 6 destroyers moving to blockade formation." "Evasive pattern Theta," Mara ordered. "Full power to shields. Commander Davis, open a secure channel to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Transmit everything we've discovered so far." The Odyssey shuddered as it accelerated upward through the atmosphere, the Council destroyers converging on their position. "Channel open to Earth Command," Davis confirmed. "But there's heavy interference. The Council ships are jamming our transmission. Boost the signal. Use the auxiliary communications array if necessary." "Incoming fire!" Patel called out as the first destroyer launched an energy barrage. The Odyssey rocked violently. "Shields holding at 86%, reported the engineering officer. "But we can't take sustained fire from all 6 vessels." Mara studied the tactical display, looking for an opening. There, between the 3rd and 4th destroyers, their formation has a weak point. Lieutenant Patel, set course directly through that gap. Maximum impulse. "That's dangerously close to their weapons range. Captain, it's our only chance. Execute now." The Odyssey surged forward, rolling to present its smallest profile to the enemy vessels. Energy beams lanced out from the destroyers, most missing their rapidly moving target. Shields at 62%. Engineering reported as a glancing hit shook the ship. "Status of the transmission to Earth Command?" Mara asked. Commander Davis worked furiously at his console. "Partial data packet received by Earth Command. They're acknowledging and..." "Captain, Admiral Ruiz is responding personally. She's mobilizing the Earth Defense Fleet." A grim smile crossed Mara's face. Lucia wouldn't let them face this alone. "We're past the destroyer screen," Patel announced. "But the command cruiser is moving to intercept, and they're launching fighters. Stay on course for the edge of the system. Once we're clear, prepare for emergency warp." The view screen showed the approaching Council fighters. Sleek, deadly craft designed for intercepting escaping vessels. "Captain," Chief Wong called from her science station, "I've analyzed the gravitational corridor that conceals this system. If we can transmit the resonance frequency of the distortion field to Earth Command, their ships will be able to navigate directly here." "Do it," Mara ordered. "Add it to the data package." Another hit rocked the ship more violently than before. "Direct hit to our port nacelle." Engineering reported, "Warp capability compromised. We can still make Warp 3, but no more than that." "Not fast enough to outrun the Council ships," Patel said grimly. Mara made a quick decision. "Change of plans. Set course directly for the gravitational corridor. Commander Davis, how much of our data has reached Earth Command?" "Approximately 70%. including the colony locations and genetic evidence, still transmitting the historical records and the corridor frequency data. Fighters approaching, attack vector, Patel warned. Impact in 15 seconds. All power to aft shields and engines, Mara commanded. We need to reach that corridor. The Odyssey shuddered under the impact of multiple fighter attacks, but maintained its course toward the system's edge, where the hidden corridor awaited. Corridor entrance in 30 seconds, Patel reported. But the command cruiser is moving to block our path. On the view screen, the massive Council vessel loomed directly in their escape route, weapons ports glowing with charged energy. They're preparing to fire their main cannon, Patel warned. A direct hit will disable us completely. Mara gripped the arms of her command chair. Evasive pattern delta. Prepare to vent plasma from the damaged nacelle on my mark. The science officer looked up in surprise. Captain, that would create a momentary sensor blind spot. I know. It's our only chance. Lieutenant Patel, the moment we vent the plasma, execute a hard turn to heading 027 Mark 34 and accelerate to full impulse. Aye, Captain. The command cruiser's main cannon began to glow with building energy. They're firing, Patel called out. Now, vent plasma and execute turn. A cloud of superheated plasma erupted from the Odyssey's damaged nacelle, just as the command cruiser fired. The energy beam collided with the plasma cloud, creating a massive electromagnetic disruption. In that moment of confusion, the Odyssey veered sharply off its previous course and accelerated toward a slightly different vector into the gravitational corridor. We're through their line, Patel announced, entering the corridor in 5 seconds. Status of the transmission to Earth Command? Mara demanded. 93% complete, Davis replied. The historical records are still transmitting. That will have to be enough. All power to engines. The Odyssey plunged into the gravitational corridor, the distortion effects immediately obscuring them from the Council vessel's sensors. They're firing blindly into the corridor, Patel reported, as distant explosions registered on their sensors. Stay on course. The distortions will protect us until we're clear. For tense minutes, the research vessel navigated the twisting gravitational pathways of the hidden corridor. Finally, they emerged back into normal space far from the Council blockade. We're clear, Patel confirmed, but our warp drive is failing. We can't maintain more than warp 2 now. The Council ships? They've entered the corridor in pursuit. Estimated arrival in this sector in 17 minutes. Mara nodded grimly. Set course for Earth. Maximum sustainable speed. Commander Davis. Status of our transmission? Completed, Captain. Earth Command has received our full data package. A weight lifted from Mara's shoulders even as she recognized their dire situation. Open a ship-wide channel. Davis nodded, activating the internal communication system. This is the captain speaking, Mara began, her voice steady despite the circumstances. As you're all aware, we've discovered evidence that the Galactic Council has been deliberately concealing humanity's true history, that human colonies were established throughout the galaxy thousands of years ago by an ancient civilization, and that Earth is the original homeworld of all these scattered human societies. She paused, letting the magnitude of this revelation sink in. We've successfully transmitted our findings to Earth Command, but Council forces are still in pursuit. Our warp drive is damaged, and we cannot outrun them. However, our mission has been accomplished. The truth about humanity's place in the galaxy will be known. Another pause as the ship trembled slightly, the damaged nacelle struggling to maintain even their reduced warp speed. I want to commend each of you for your courage and dedication. Whatever happens next, know that your actions today have changed the course of human history. Torres out. As the transmission ended, Mara turned to her senior officers on the bridge. Options. Lieutenant Patel spoke first. We could attempt to hide in the SETI Nebula. The radiation might mask our signature long enough for Earth forces to reach us. The nebula would also prevent us from communicating with Earth Command, Commander Davis pointed out. And damage our already compromised systems, added the engineering officer. Dr. Ford, who had remained quiet until now, stepped forward. Captain, I believe there's another option. The data we retrieved from the colony included coordinates for other human worlds, some quite close to our position. If these people have maintained their ancient traditions like the colony we visited, they might offer us sanctuary. Mara considered this. The closest colony? Chief Wong checked the downloaded data. A system designated Proxima Librae in our charts, approximately 2 hours at our current speed. Council ships would still overtake us before we arrive, Patel noted. Unless we created a diversion, Mara said thoughtfully. Commander Davis, prepare a series of communication buoys. Program them to transmit a duplicate of our engine signature and launch them on different vectors when we reach the Corrales asteroid field. Understanding dawned on Davis's face. Split their pursuit forces. Exactly. And we'll use the asteroids to mask our actual course change toward Proxima Librae. The plan was risky, but it was their best chance of survival. As the Odyssey approached the asteroid field, they prepared the modified communication buoys. Council vessels now 14 minutes behind us, Patel reported. Launch the buoys, Mara ordered. 5 small devices shot out from the Odyssey, each accelerating on a different course. Simultaneously, Lieutenant Patel executed a sharp turn, taking them deep into the asteroid field. Buoys are transmitting. Each one is emitting a signature that mimics our damaged warp profile. Now we wait, Mara said quietly. 12 tense minutes later, their sensors detected the Council pursuit force splitting up, with vessels following each of the decoy signatures. It worked, Patel said with relief in her voice. They've divided their forces. 2 destroyers are still on a course that will bring them close to the asteroid field. But they haven't detected us yet. Maintain position behind the largest asteroids, Mara instructed. Once they've passed, set course for Proxima Librae. Minimal power signature. The waiting was excruciating. But finally, the Council destroyers moved past their hiding place, following one of the decoy buoys. They're clear, Patel confirmed. Setting course for Proxima Librae. Power at 30% to minimize detection. Mara allowed herself a small moment of relief. They had gained precious time, but they weren't safe yet. The Council would eventually realize they'd been tricked and regroup their forces. Commander Davis, can we get a message through to Earth Command without being detected? Possibly. If we use a tight beam transmission bounced off several relay points, it would be fragmented, but enough to update them on our status and course. Do it. They need to know we're still alive and where we're headed. As the Odyssey limped toward Proxima Librae, Mara found herself in a quiet conversation with Dr. Ford in her ready room. What do you think will happen when Earth learns the truth? She asked him. The linguist considered the question carefully. Outrage, initially. The Council has effectively been lying to us since first contact. But beyond that, he smiled slightly. A renaissance, I should think. A reconnection with our lost heritage and family among the stars. If we survive to see it, Mara added soberly. We've done our part, Captain. The truth is out now. It can't be contained again. Back on Earth, Admiral Lucia Ruiz stood in the secure command center of Earth Defense Force headquarters, surrounded by her senior staff. The data transmitted by the Odyssey was displayed on multiple screens around the room. Verification complete, announced her chief science officer. Genetic analysis confirms common ancestry between Earth humans and samples from the colony world. Historical records align with archaeological gaps in our own history. The evidence is conclusive. Lucia's expression was thunderous. 5 years. 5 years they've been feeding us lies about our place in the galaxy, while hiding the existence of dozens of human colonies. The Council representatives are demanding an emergency meeting. Admiral, her aide reported. I'm sure they are, Lucia replied coldly. They know what we've discovered. Prepare a full tactical alert for all Earth forces, and get me a direct channel to Council headquarters not our local representatives. Headquarters. That's contrary to diplomatic protocol, her political advisor warned. Protocol be damned. They've been lying to us since first contact. Within minutes, the stern face of Grand Administrator Selkorn appeared on the main view screen. Admiral Ruiz, he began formally, I must protest the unauthorized deployment of Earth military forces. Stand down immediately and— Let's dispense with the pretense, Administrator, Lucia interrupted. We've received the Odyssey's transmission. We know about the human colonies, the Council's deliberate concealment of our shared history, and your attack on our research vessel. Selkorn's expression hardened. Captain Torres violated numerous Council directives by entering a restricted zone. The consequences, Lucia cut in again, will be determined by your next actions. Administrator, the Odyssey has transmitted irrefutable evidence that the Council has been systematically concealing humanity's true history and keeping our scattered colonies isolated from each other. This constitutes a violation of our membership agreement, which guarantees full historical and scientific exchange. You don't understand the complexities. I understand perfectly. The Council feared that if Earth discovered its true heritage as the origin world of humanity, we might establish connections with our colonial offshoots and form a voting bloc within the Council. So you classified our ancient history as a restricted subject and our colony worlds as forbidden zones. Selkorn's facial markings flushed a deeper blue. The stability of the Council is not our primary concern, Lucia finished for him. The safety of our research vessel and crew is— The Odyssey has reported that they're being pursued by Council warships with hostile intent. Call them off immediately. I cannot do that. The information they've obtained is already in our possession, Lucia stated firmly. Destroying the Odyssey will accomplish nothing except starting a war that neither of us wants. She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a dangerous level. Make no mistake, Administrator, Earth will not stand by while you attempt to erase our history and attack our ships. I have already transmitted the Odyssey's findings to every Earth embassy and outpost in Council space, with instructions to release the information publicly if anything happens to either the Odyssey or Earth itself. For the first time, Selkorn appeared uncertain. You're bluffing. Your forces are no match for the Council fleet. Perhaps. But how will the other human worlds react when they learn the truth? How will your own people react when they discover the Council has been manipulating historical records for centuries? Some of your member species value truth above all else. How will they respond to this deception? Silence stretched between them as Selkorn considered his options. I will consult with the full Council on this matter, he finally said. Do that, Lucia replied. In the meantime, recall your ships pursuing the Odyssey. I'm dispatching a rescue fleet to their last reported coordinates, and any Council vessel that interferes will be considered hostile. After the transmission ended, Lucia turned to her staff. Prepare the second fleet for immediate departure. Priority is locating and protecting the Odyssey. And if we encounter Council forces, asked her fleet commander, try to avoid direct confrontation, but make it clear we will defend our ships. And transmit the Odyssey's data to the fleet commanders. They need to understand what's at stake. As Earth forces mobilized, the Odyssey approached the Proxima Library system cautiously. Their sensors detected a civilization more advanced than the first colony they'd visited, closer to early 21st century Earth technology. We're being scanned, reported Lieutenant Patel. They've detected our approach. Open a channel, Mara ordered. Let's hope Dr. Ford's translations of their language are accurate. The view screen activated, showing a control room with several humans in uniform-like attire. Their features showed subtle evolutionary divergences from Earth humans, slightly larger eyes, more prominent cheekbones, but they were unmistakably of common ancestry. Unidentified vessel, one of them said in an accented but understandable version of the colony language. Identify yourself and state your purpose. Dr. Ford had prepared for this moment. We are the research vessel Odyssey from Earth, the mother world. We come seeking sanctuary from Council pursuers. A ripple of shock passed through the control room personnel. The leader stepped forward, studying them intently. You claim to be from the origin world? The world of our ancestors? Yes, Mara confirmed, stepping into view. We have discovered the truth about humanity's dispersal throughout the galaxy, and the Council's efforts to keep this knowledge hidden. They are now pursuing us to prevent this truth from spreading. The leader conferred briefly with his colleagues, then turned back to the screen. We have ancient prophecies about the return of the Mother Worlders. Land at the coordinates we're transmitting. We will grant you temporary sanctuary while we verify your claims. As the transmission ended, Lieutenant Patel looked concerned. Captain, if they notify the Council... We don't have much choice, Mara replied. Our warp drive is failing, and the Council ships will regroup soon. This is our best option. The Odyssey descended to the provided coordinates, a secluded landing facility outside the colony's main settlement. As they touched down, Mara could see a welcoming committee forming, along with what appeared to be security forces. Dr. Ford, Lieutenant Patel, you're with me, she decided. Commander Davis, maintain ship's readiness and continue repairs on the warp drive. The air of Proxima Librae felt heavier than Earth's, but still comfortably breathable as they stepped onto the planet's surface. The delegation that greeted them was led by a stern-faced man in an elaborate uniform. I am Director Callan of the Proxima Defense Authority. He introduced himself. You claim to be from Earth, the world of our ancient texts. We are, Mara confirmed. I am Captain Mara Torres of the Earth research vessel Odyssey. You must understand our caution, Callan continued. The Council has told us for generations that we evolved independently on this world. Your claim contradicts our official history. Dr. Ford stepped forward, activating a holographic display from his tablet. These are genetic comparisons between Earth humans and samples we collected from another human colony. The match is undeniable. We share common ancestry. Callan studied the display with intense interest. Our scientists have wondered about certain inconsistencies in our evolutionary record, but the Council experts always dismissed our questions. They've been lying to all human worlds, Mara said simply, keeping us separated and ignorant of our shared heritage. Why? To prevent humanity from unifying and potentially challenging Council authority. Callan's expression darkened. We have long suspected the Council's intentions were not as benevolent as they claimed. Come. Our leaders will want to hear this directly. As they were escorted toward ground transportation, Lieutenant Patel suddenly tensed. Captain, incoming spacecraft. Council design. Mara looked up to see a small shuttle descending rapidly toward the landing area. They found us. Director Callan followed her gaze, his expression hardening. A Council diplomatic vessel. How did they know you were here? Perhaps they tracked us, or perhaps they were already monitoring your world, Mara suggested. We have no choice but to receive them, Callan said grimly. But I make no promises about how we will respond to their demands. The Council shuttle landed nearby, and a small delegation emerged, led by a tall, imperious Arcturian that Mara recognized immediately. Grand Administrator Selkorn, she said quietly to her companions. The head of the Council himself. Selkorn approached, flanked by guards, his cold eyes fixed on Mara with unmistakable hostility. Captain Torres, he said, his voice dripping with disdain. You've led us on quite a chase. Administrator, Mara replied coolly. Have you come to finish what your destroyers started? That depends entirely on you. Selkorn turned to Director Callan. Director, I must insist that you turn these fugitives over to Council authority immediately. They have violated numerous regulations and accessed restricted information. Callan regarded the administrator with new suspicion. What restricted information would that be? Administrator. Selkorn hesitated, realizing his mistake. That is council business. Director. Your cooperation is required under Section 47 of your Protectorate Agreement. Before I make any decision, Callan replied carefully, I would like to hear exactly what Captain Torres has discovered that warrants such aggressive pursuit. I forbid this, Selkorn snapped. The information is classified at the highest level. Mara saw her opportunity. They don't want you to know that Earth is the original homeworld of all humans in the galaxy, that an ancient civilization transplanted early humans to dozens of worlds, including Proxima Librae, thousands of years ago. The Council discovered this truth centuries ago but concealed it to keep human worlds divided and controllable. Selkorn's face contorted with rage. Silence, you have no authority to— Is this true? Callan demanded, turning to Selkorn. Have you been lying to us about our origins? The situation is more complex than these humans understand, Selkorn responded, his composure cracking. The careful balance of the Council would be threatened if humans united across multiple worlds. Mara finished for him. We've transmitted all the evidence to Earth already. Administrator, the truth is out. A communication alert sounded from both Selkorn's device and Mara's. They checked them simultaneously. Captain, came Commander Davis's voice from the Odyssey. Multiple ships dropping out of warp in the system. Both Council and Earth vessels. Mara's heart leapt. Earth vessels confirmed? Confirmed. It's the Second Fleet under Admiral Ruiz's direct command. Selkorn's expression had turned grim as he received similar information from his own sources. It seems, Mara said to him, that Earth took our evidence seriously. The sky above the landing area soon filled with the contrails of descending ships, the sleek lines of Earth's newest defensive vessels, contrasting with the more angular Council designs. A tense standoff developed in orbit as the opposing fleets positioned themselves. Admiral Lucia Ruiz herself descended in a rapid deployment shuttle, accompanied by a squad of Earth's elite guards. Her weathered face showed relief at seeing Mara alive, quickly masked by her professional demeanor. Captain Torres, she greeted formally. Well done on your mission. Admiral, Mara replied with equal formality. I see you received our transmission. Indeed. Lucia turned to face Selkorn. Administrator, this situation has escalated beyond what either of us intended. I propose we discuss terms. Selkorn's posture remained rigid. There are no terms to discuss. The Council's authority is absolute in matters of restricted information. Not anymore, came a new voice. All heads turned to see a group of Council officials emerging from a newly arrived shuttle. Their leader, a dignified Centaurian with the markings of a senior counselor, stepped forward. Counselor Venn, Selkorn acknowledged stiffly. This is an internal security matter. Your presence is neither required nor welcome. On the contrary, Venn replied. When the Council learned of your unauthorized military action against an Earth research vessel, an emergency session was convened. Your authority in this matter has been suspended pending investigation. Selkorn's face drained of color. You cannot. We can and have, Venn interrupted. For too long. Certain elements within the Council have pursued a policy of historical revisionism and manipulation. When Earth's transmission reached us, many counselors were as shocked as they were by what they learned. The Centaurian turned to Admiral Ruiz. On behalf of the reformed Council leadership, I extend our sincere apologies to Earth and all human worlds for this deception. We wish to begin immediate negotiations for a new relationship based on truth and mutual respect. Lucia studied him carefully. And the Odyssey and her crew will face no sanctions or repercussions. Indeed, they have performed a service to the galaxy by bringing this long-standing deception to light. Director Callan of Proxima Librae stepped forward. And what of our world, and others like it? We have been denied our true history for generations. That will be rectified, Venn promised. All historical records will be unsealed, and free communication established between all human worlds. As negotiations continued, Mara found herself standing slightly apart, watching the historic moment unfold. Dr. Ford joined her, his expression thoughtful. "Not quite how I expected this to end," he commented. "No," Mara agreed. "I thought we'd be lucky to escape with our lives, let alone see the beginning of such fundamental change. It seems the Council itself wasn't as monolithic as we believed. Selkorn's faction may have been powerful, but not unopposed. Truth has a power of its own," Mara observed. "Once revealed, it can't easily be contained again." In the days that followed, the galaxy witnessed unprecedented changes. The Odyssey's discoveries led to the formation of a new human alliance within the Council structure, a unified voice for Earth and its long-lost colonies. Archaeological teams were dispatched to study the ancient human settlement sites, seeking clues about the mysterious Ancient Ones who had seeded humanity among the stars. Aboard the repaired Odyssey, now docked at Earth's orbital station, Mara Torres stood in her ready room, gazing at the blue-green planet below. A chime announced a visitor, Admiral Ruiz. "Admiral," Mara greeted her. "I didn't expect to see you before the ceremony." Lucia smiled, more relaxed than Mara had seen her in years. "I wanted a moment to speak with you privately, before you become the hero of the hour." "I was just doing my job," Mara demurred. "No," Lucia corrected her. "You were following your instincts when every protocol said to turn back. That's more than just doing your job." She handed Mara a data crystal. "Your new orders. The Odyssey is being recommissioned as the flagship of a new exploration initiative, to chart and connect all the lost human colonies." Mara took the crystal, surprised. "I'd have thought they'd want someone with more diplomatic experience for that role." "The Alliance Council specifically requested you. You're the face of this new era, Mara. Whether you're comfortable with that or not." Lucia's expression softened. "Besides, who better to unite our scattered family than the captain who discovered the truth?" After the Admiral left, Mara returned to the viewport, contemplating the future that stretched before humanity. The Council had tried to hide Earth's existence from its children among the stars, but it was too late now. The truth was free, and with it, humanity's destiny. As if echoing her thoughts, Dr. Ford's voice came over the ship's communication system. "Captain to the bridge. We're receiving greetings from the 7th Human Colony world to make contact since the Alliance formed." "On my way," Mara replied, setting aside her reflections. The journey was just beginning.